Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, May the 1st. I'm Clay Emo at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. And I'm a founding member of the club that's sweeping the nation, the GLCPC, the good-looking Canucks Positivity Club. And usually I wait to the end of this video to do this, but I'm going to do it now for a change. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that picture or button of the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, usually 3 times a week. And you can wait to the end of this video to press the like button, but hopefully you will. Speaking of positivity, Jonathan Dahlen, whether our Canucks prospect, whether he's starting in Utica or hopefully the big club next year, Jonathan Dahlen was named very recently, I think it was yesterday, the MVP of Hockey Allsvenskan. Basically the second best league, I'm pretty sure I butchered the name, but I butcher everything I say. The second best league in Sweden. Last week, we know that Elias Pettersson was named the playoff MVP and the leading scorer of the Swedish Hockey League, or the Swedish Elite League, the top league in Sweden. And now his countryman, Jonathan Dahlen, was named the MVP of the second league. Again, Hockey Allsvenskan. That sounds right? Anyway, so that's pretty exciting. Pettersson is an MVP in his league. Dahlen is an MVP in his league. Swedish forwards who are MVPs. That sounds a little bit like, of course, Daniel and Henrik Sedin. And you know what's interesting? I was looking at the roster, the Canucks roster, at least the roster at the end of the season. And of course, you have a bunch of players who are born and raised in Canada. In fact, or at least born in Canada. All our D-core, except for Alex Edler, are Canadians. Hutton, Stetcher, Goodbranson, Delzato, Biega. They're all Canadian. I think Pouliot's Canadian too. There was one and only one non-Canadian on the blue line, and that was Alex Edler. Of course, we know our 2 goalies were Swedish, Jacob Markstrom and Anders Nilsson. And then up front, you have some Canadian forwards like Horvat, of course. And then you had the Swedes, Sedin and Eriksson. You had Granlund, who's a Finn. You had the Americans, of course, Sutter and Mott and Dowd. And then you have Barchi, who's a Swiss. And then I'm missing someone. Then Godobin, who's a Russian. So you had United Nations basically up front, mostly Canadians on the back end, and all Swedes goaltending. I bring this up because as we talk about guys like Pettersson hopefully making the team next year, Dahlen hopefully making this team next year, basically we're still going to have 6 Swedes on our starting roster, perhaps. Yes, we lose Daniel, we lose Henrik, and we'll likely lose Anders Nilsson if Demko makes the team out of camp. So we're losing 3 Swedes, but potentially there's Pettersson, there's Dahlen, and there's our draft pick. Actually, now that I think about it, our draft pick likely won't start with the team. But there's a chance that we draft a Swede. Obviously, it's not the Swede we want in Rasmus Dahlin, but there's a chance that we draft another Swedish defenseman, Adam Blomqvist, if he falls to 7, if the Canucks want him at 7. Or, of course, the forward that a lot of people are getting excited about, and that's Oliver Wahlstrom. So there's a chance, yes, that we pick a Swede with our number 7 pick. Probably won't start the season with our team, but at least we know that Pettersson has a good chance, Dahlen has an outside chance, or maybe more than an outside chance, and they can keep our Swede quotient alive. I'm not a big, it doesn't matter what country they're from as long as they can play, but I think a lot of my friends like to bug me, friends from other cities and other teams, they not bug me, but they always remark about how many Swedes we have on the team, and sure enough, like I said, with Sedin, Eriksson, Edler, Nilsson, and Markstrom, we had 6 Swedes on our active roster at the end of last season. Fine with me. How sweet it is. It can be sweet. A lot of sweetness. Whatever you want to say. Doesn't matter to me as long as they can play hockey. But I think it's kind of ironic or kind of fitting that we could basically have Pettersson and Dahlen come in and then maybe draft a Swede with our 7th overall pick. One other thing I want to talk about, the playoffs. Wow. I like to say, I can't wait for the Canucks to make the playoffs. And as I watch these games, especially the Winnipeg-Nashville series, and I see the intensity, I see how awesome the crowd is and how into it they are. Of course, it harkens back to the 2010-2011 season when we went to the Stanley Cup Finals, even the 12-13 seasons where we were in the first round of the playoffs. Then, of course, we had a break in the 14th season. Then we made that one season, Willie D's first year against Calgary. Didn't really get into it, though, because it was just the first round and the Canucks never got out of it. Actually, now that I think about it, the Canucks haven't got out of the first round since 2011. But it sure makes me miss playoff hockey. And I love to say, the Canucks are going to make it next year, or the Canucks are going to make it in a couple of years. But man, as I watch these second round series, especially the 2 in the Western Conference, watching San Jose and Vegas go at it last night, I could not believe the speed at which these guys were playing. And we're talking about first overtime, second overtime. So I'm not talking about the first 10 minutes of the first period. This is after 60, 70, 80 minutes of grueling, hard-hitting, intense playoff hockey. And I cannot believe the speed and the quickness and the agility and how quick the one-timers, the give and goes, the slap shots, the breakaways, it was amazing. And I was in awe as I watched, and I said a couple times to my son Sean as we were watching, I said, well, I can't picture the Canucks playing like this, at least not right now, maybe not for another year or two. It was unbelievable. And then you contrast that to the Winnipeg Nashville series, maybe not as fast, but certainly as intense. The crowds are into it. These are, as we know, probably the two best teams in the Western Conference, if not the entire NHL. They're meeting the second round, and the intensity, every shift, every time Subban touches the puck in Winnipeg, he gets booed. Every time something happens in front of the net, there's always a rumble, there's a scramble, and the crowd is into it. Again, I can't picture the Canucks playing to that intensity, to that skill level. They're probably at least 2 or 3 years away from that. But man, when they do return to the playoffs, it's going to be crazy, and I can't wait for us to share that excitement once again. That's all I got for you today. Leave a comment below. I love to read and react and reply, whether it's about Jonathan Dahlen winning the MVP for his league, whether it's about the potential of restocking the Swedish players on our active roster, or whether it's about the intensity and the speed that we're seeing in the second round of the NHL playoffs. Do you see the Canucks being able to do that? And if so, how long is it going to take for them to get to that spot? Again, leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel. I'd love it. Do so. Give this video a like. That would help me out a lot. And best of all, have a great night. It's sunny. I'm going to go play some volleyball at my church. Hopefully not bust up my fingers anymore. And have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.